Hey everyone, welcome back. Johnny B here with devslopes.com, and this is an exciting lesson because this is our final real lesson where we're going to continue developing features. All right, so we have up till this point a practically fully functioning chat app. You guys have done so much, so proud of you all. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, had fun. So yeah, let's finish up. So what we're going to do this lesson is we're going to make it to where we can have some visual indication. We can know if someone has sent a chat message in one of the other channels that we are not currently in. All right. So to do that, we're going to have to do a little refactor. All right. Over in our socket service.swift, I realized that there would be some value in passing the new message as in the closure to this in this function, because then what we can do is, so what this just a reminder, what this function is doing is this is listening for any new message being sent to the API that gets sent back to us. And so what we were doing before was we were checking here whether or not the new message channel matched up with the selected channel. But I think we want to be able to do that check inside of each view controller, because what we're going to do is here in the channel VC, what we're going to do is we're going to also set up the listener for new messages. So, and what we're going to do with that is if a new message comes in that is not the selected channel, what we're going to do is we're going to add that channel to an array of unread channels, and then we're going to update our channels rows accordingly. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that refactor real quick. Back here in our socket service.swift, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to pull out this new message right here, and we're going to create the new message out here, and then this is all going to go away. Cut that. So now what do we have? Well, we have a new message object and no way of getting that to where we have called this message. That is with our current completion handler, with our closure. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something similar like we did with our getTypingUsers function. We're going to pass in our closure, instead of just a simple true-false boolean, we are going to pass this new message as an object in our closure. All right. So instead of this completion handler, what we are going to do is we are going to say underscore new message, and that is going to be of type message, and we are returning void. Okay, so now when we call this function as part of the closure, as part of the completion, we can say completion, and now we are expecting a message, so we can say new message. All right, perfect. And then we need to fix our chat VC. Here we are. So this is the one that is wrong. So I'm going to comment that out just for reference. I'm going to say socket service.instance.get chat message, and this time our closure gives us a, whoops, this time I'm going to press enter. This time our closure gives us a message. Okay, and we're going to, what are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to check that new message. I'm going to name this new message. We're going to check our new message, and pretty much we're going to do the same thing, the same checks that we were doing in the previous version of this socket function. So we're going to say if new message dot channel ID is equal to our selected channel ID, so message service dot instance dot selected channel dot ID, and the auth service is logged in, and we're logged in. Auth service dot instance dot is logged in. So if all of that is true, then we are going to append that new message. So we're going to say message service dot instance dot messages dot append, and the new element that we are appending is our new message. There we go. And then we're going to say self.reload, or self.table view.reload data. And then we're going to do our scroll down to the bottom. So we're going to say if message service dot instance dot messages dot count is greater than 0. Let's go ahead and let the end index, we got to create our index path again, equal to index path, and that's going to be initialized with a row and a section. The row is message service dot instance dot messages dot count -1, and the section is 0. Okay, so then we're going to scroll to that row. So we're going to say self.tableview.scroll to row at the index path, which is the end index at dot bottom. I'm kind of going through this quickly because we've already done this exact same thing before, and the animated is false. Alrighty. So there we go. There's our refactor. Everything will should continue to work exactly as it was. But now what we have done with this socket service is we've allowed to be able to access the new message, whether or not that the message is coming from a channel that we have currently selected. So what that allows us to do is over here in channel VC is we're going to listen for new messages here as well. But here, we're more interested in the messages that come from channels that we do not have currently selected, all right? So we're gonna say socket service.instance.get chat message, yes. And the object that is passed in the closure is a message, and we'll call this new message in our code. All right, so here we're gonna say if the new message dot channel ID does not equal our message service dot instance dot selected channel dot ID. If that's the case and we are logged in, auth service dot instance dot is logged in. So if those two are the case, then we know that we have a channel that has some unread message inside of it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create an array of strings here in our message service that represents the unread channels. And so we're going to call this array unread channels, and this is just going to be an array of strings. We're going to initialize it, and what we're going to put in here are the unread channels IDs. Okay, so back to our channel VC, and we can say, so if the new message.channel ID does not equal the selected channel, then what we're going to do is we're going to say message service.instance.unread. I think I need to save this over here. All right, so save. Oh, I put strings, that's why. It needs to be just string. I was wondering why that was staying like that. All right, so then back to channel VC, unread channels dot append, and so we're going to append into this array of strings that is going to contain our channel IDs, and we're just going to say new message.channel ID. All right, and then we're going to say self.tableview.reload data, because with this array of strings that are unread channel IDs, what we can do is here in our channel cell, where are you at? Under view, channel cell, we can do a check when we configure our cell whether or not this channel is an unread channel. And if it is, then we're going to make the font bold and larger. So let's go ahead and do that. First, we're going to set our regular default font. So we're going to say channel name dot font is equal to UI font, and that's going to be with the name of our default font is Helvetica new dash regular. The size is 17, and so that's the default. And then we're going to say, then we're going to loop through the unread channel IDs and compare it to our channel ID that is passed into this configure function. And if it matches, if any of them match, then we know that that's an unread channel. So we are going to change the font to a bold and bump up the font size here. So I'm going to say for ID in message service.instance.unread channels, if the ID in the message service unread channels is the same as this current channel.id, then we're going to say channel name.font is equal to UI font, and we can change it by changing the name of the font here. And so this is going to be now Helvetica New dash bold. And then our size, we're going to bump it up to say 22 maybe. All right, then we're going to save that. And I think, let me make sure these are spelled right. Helvetica. All right, I think that looks good. I'm going to save this and let's run it. Alrighty, so I'm going to open this up here, and then I'm going to open up our Mac chat app over here. And I'm currently in general, right? So I'm going to go into random and say randomness. I'm going to send it, and if all goes according to plan, this guy here should suddenly get large and bold. Oh, hey, nice. I'm going to go into dev slopes and just send some gibberish. Boom, dev slopes gets big. All right, so cool. But now, when we go into here, we need a way to make it so that these go back to their normal size, right? Meaning that we've entered it, we've seen the unread messages, so now just go back to regular. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back into our channel VC, because what we're going to do is we're going to handle that when one of these are selected. And that's handled down here in our did select function. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do a check to, first we're going to do a check to see if there are any unread channels, just so we're not doing unnecessary work. So we're going to say if message service.instance.unread channels count is greater than 0. So if there are some unread channels, then we are going to, we're going to filter. All right, so we know we've selected a channel, and so what we're going to do is we're going to filter out of the unread channels this channel. All right, and that will leave all of the channels except for the one that we just clicked on. So we're going to say message service.instance.unread channels is equal to itself message service.instance.unread channels. But now we're going to filter, so we're going to say dot filter, and we're going to do curly brace and then the $ and 0, and we're going to say where that is not equal to channel.id. Okay, so basically we're saying the unread channels array is equal to itself, but we are filtering out the item where it is equal to this channel's ID. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to reload that row so that the configure cell is called again, and it'll reset the font size. But one issue with that is when we do that, it resets the set selected. For some reason, that will go away. So what we're going to do also is we're going to reload that row, and then we're going to select that row afterwards. But to do that, we need an index path variable. So let's create that. We're going to say let index equal to index path, and the index path, we're going to create that from right here, row and section. The row is index path dot row. The section is 0 since we only have one. And then we're going to say table view dot reload, dot reload rows at, and the index path that we are reloading at is index. With row animation, we don't really want one, so we're going to say none. And then we're going to reselect that row. We're going to say, so selecting it and this did select is a little bit different. So you don't have to worry, it's not going to like do a double select. So we're going to say table view dot select row at the index path that we are selecting at is index, animated is false, and the scroll position is dot none. Whoops. All right, so just to run through this again, when we click on a row, if it's one that we've selected, then it's going to go through this check right here. We're going to see if there are some unreads. If there are, then we're going to filter out the one that we just clicked on, and then we're going to reload it, which will then reload that row, and now it's not a unread channel, so it won't be big. And then we're going to reselect it so that we have our set selected fade on it. All right, so let's try this again. I'm going to run it. All right, going to open up our channels, open up my Mac, and let's go in random. Just send some gibberish and it pops up. Socket our bomb. All right, so let's see if this works. I'm gonna click on random, and it looks like it did go back to normal. Yep, went back to normal and went back to normal. Alrighty, peeps, we are done. This has been a huge app. I think we've been going on something like 8 or 9, 10 hours. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me and coding along, and I hope you have learned a lot. Reach out to us in the chat rooms. Let us know how you've been enjoying the course. And yeah, this is the last big video. The next lesson, we're just going to talk about where you can go from here. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework to get you guys thinking on your own and trying to implement some little features. All right, but yeah, I really hope you guys have had fun. We've learned so much. We've learned about collection views, table views, dynamic sizing of cells, sockets, web connections, APIs. I mean, just a whole ton. And you got yourself here a real nice looking app with a nice slide menu. So yeah, I mean, hope you guys really like what you have created. And yeah, I'll see you in the next little lesson where I'm going to give you some homework, all right? So until then, I'm just going to add and commit, as you guys should also be doing, and I'll see you in the next one.